ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Druk's Milan Unboxing. Please hit the subscribe button at the bottom of your screen. You can also follow me on Twitter at Druk's Unboxing, and you can see me in the monthly edition of The Ring. I'm doing the South African Roundup and the World Beat column. Tonight we're going to be talking about a cruiserweight fight taking place Saturday night in Germany. That's of interest especially to South Africans. And it features our own Kevin Lerena. Now, Kevin Lerena is ranked number 5 in the world by Ring Magazine. If you prefer, you can also go to the Transnational Boxing Board rankings. It's another independent ranking system outside of our alphabet bodies. And he is also number 5. So Kevin Lerena is a world-class operator. His record is now 24 wins, 1 loss, 11 knockouts. He didn't have any amateur background to speak of, and he has come along fantastically over the years to develop into a real true contender for top honours. Now he'll also be defending his IBO world title, which is the best of the rest outside of a WBA, WBC, IBF and WBO. It's not really recognised as a world title by the international boxing community at large, but he's got that nonetheless, and he's defending it against former WBA cruiserweight champion of the world, Firat Arslan. Now Arslan is a popular figure in Germany. He's of Turkish descent, but he's been around for a long time and he's beaten some really good cruiserweights in his career. He beat the future cruiserweight champion, WBC champion Grigory Droz. He stopped him. He beat Valery Brudov for the WBA interim belt, and then he beat the legendary Virgil Hill in 2007 for the full WBA world title. Defended it once against Darryl Wilson, and then he lost it again to Guillermo Jones. Now, since then, that was 2007, he went on a challenge twice more for the WBO version of the world title. First fight against Marco Huck. A lot of people thought he deserved the decision. It was an unpopular decision. They did it again. This time Marco Huck stopped him. And then his last fight of really big significance was in 2014 when he challenged the IBF and in those days also the Ring cruiserweight champion of the world, Juan Pablo Hernandez, and he lost a split decision that many people thought once again he deserved to win. Now since then he has been undefeated in 14 fights. I say undefeated, not 14 wins. There's a draw. That's a minor blemish in that 14 fight run. But he hasn't lost since. Now Arslan is a big name, but there's a lot of negativity around this fight as well. And why is that? Well, simply put, Arslan is 49 years old. Now that's very old for a professional fighter. Is it impossible to compete at the world level at that age? No, it's not impossible. It's very rare, but it's been done. Bernard Hopkins broke his own record winning the IBF world title light heavyweight from Tavares Cloud at the age of 48, and then he won the WBA title in a unification match against Baybut Shumanov, and he was 49 like Arslan. But he is the exception to the rule, and just the fact that Arslan is still a professional boxer shows that he's also the exception to the rule. Now, if we look at Firat Arslan's style, the first thing in a boxer to go with age is his reflexes and the speed. But his game was never really based on reflexes and speed. He's got a very basic style. He's a very physically strong, sturdy guy. He's tough, he can take it. And he likes coming in with his hands held very high like that, blocking with his hands. And he keeps coming at you, hitting you to the body. He's got heavy hands and eventually grinds his opponents down. So that is Firat Arslan, very basic sort of style, but it's been effective through his career. But as I've said, he's 49 now. Kevin Lerena, both these guys are southpaws, so we're going to see an all southpaw battle. Kevin Lerena has beaten some world-class operators like undefeated at the time Mickey Nielsen, Yuri Kalenga, Dmitry Kucher, but now he's facing Arslan. And Arslan, you can't get past the fact that he's 49. Still, in a business sense, he's taking it on because it's low risk, and because Arslan is ranked number 3 and number 4 respectively by the IBF and the WBA, it makes business sense because that'll push Kevin Lerena higher in those organizations. So it is a maximum reward, lower risk option for him. So what is going to happen? Arslan, he still knows how to time you with shots when you're close to him, and he can still punch. That's one thing. When I saw him, he had a draw against Sefer Seferi that was very disappointing against Kevin Lerena. Lerena did what he had to do with him, to his credit. He blasted him out in 3 rounds, but Seferi really didn't look like he was there to win. And Arslan fought a draw with Sefer Seferi, but these comparisons in boxing don't always hold true. 2 judges had it even, one gave it to Arslan, so it was a draw. But Seferi basically outworked him, and Arslan landed the harder shots. Now, the thing with Firat Arslan is he can't fight at a very high pace. He needs to fight at a controlled pace, like all older fighters have to. So he'll come in and he throws single shots. He maybe throws 2 shots at a time, really more than that. So he's going to come after Lerena and throw 1-2s. He's going to throw 3 shots maybe, but he's not going to be too busy. And Lerena moves quite well. He can change angles, and I think Arslan will have a hard time finding him, and he will definitely get it. So the thing is, can Firat Arslan take what Kevin Lerena can throw? Now, if it was the younger Arslan, I would say yes, but it is not. So I'm thinking, no, he can't. So I view this more as a stay busy fight, you know. So I think Firat Arslan is going to come to win. We would like to make a comeback for the ages and win this thing. I've got that feeling about him. He's not going to be there for payday like Seferi, and he's going to have a crowd behind him in Germany as well. So I think Arslan is going to come out there and he's going to try and win, and I think he might land a shot here and there, but Kevin Lerena is going to be too quick for him. He's going to absorb shots, and I think Lerena will have Arslan out of there by the 7th round. I don't see it going longer than that, as Arslan will be gutsy, but I think Lerena will overwhelm him and he'll take him out somewhere between round 4 and 7. So I can only see it ending for Kevin Lerena by stoppage. Strangely enough, there are some people in boxing prediction leagues around the world that are predicting that Arslan will win, mostly Europeans, and maybe they don't know Kevin Lerena. But I can't see it. I see it as a stay busy fight for Kevin. So I expect him to stop Arslan. After Arslan tries his best, he's going to try, but he's just not going to be quick enough. He's just not going to be busy enough, and Kevin will take him apart, and I expect the fight to be stopped. Now, Kevin Lerena, now if we've put the fight there, it's an interesting situation with him because he has got a lot of fans. He's a good draw at Emperor's Palace where he usually fights, and he's been brought along quite well by Golden Gloves to be in the position where he is. But he also has a lot of detractors, and why is that? I think some of it is just plain professional jealousy. He makes good money and he's done well for himself. He has this sort of pretty boy, bad boy persona. The girls like him, some of the guys don't. I think some of it is like that. That is also a part of it. But I think the thing is also boxing fans are getting a bit impatient. They want him, he is at the level where he is now, but they want to see him go to the very, very top of the division. They want to see what he's going to do against guys like the champions out there. Ilunga Makabu, the WBA champion, Arslan Gulamirian, Makabu's WBC, Junior Dorticos or Mari Bredes, who's going to fight for the IBF title, or Christoph Lovaski. They want to see him against those kind of guys. And he's had an injury since he came back last year. He had a very impressive knockout win against Arthur Mann. Was a good opponent for a comeback. And then he sort of treaded water against the likes of Vasil Dukar, Sefer Seferi, and now Arslan, who would have been considered a very good opponent had he not been 49 years old. So I think that's part of the frustration, that people want to see him against the next level and it's not happening. But I think they need to be a little bit patient here, because obviously there's something in the pipeline, but they're working at this very carefully from a business perspective. They're not going to import the top cruiserweight to South Africa. Cruiserweights ask for a lot more money than the guys in the lighter weights. It's just not going to be feasible to make a promotion like that profitable. Alternative is they've got to send him overseas. Then there's always a problem that he might get robbed. because he's not the kind of puncher that Makabu is. I think he's better than his knockout ratio indicates, especially now that the shoulder is healthy. But he's not going to necessarily score knockdowns or knock somebody at the very top out. He's going to have to win a close, maybe, decision, and that's a problem on the road. But I think they're driving towards the right direction. After this, they are planning to fight Firat. He is the WBA interim champion. We all hate the interim titles and so on, but if you get an opportunity to fight for one, take it, because it means if Gulamierian gets beaten, or if he retires, or he moves up, you automatically are going to fight for the full title, or at the very least you're eventually going to become a mandatory contender and you're going to get to fight Gulamierian. And Firat is only lost to Gulamierian in 11 rounds. That will be a good opponent. He is from Belgium, is from, originally from the Ivory Coast. So that is what they're leading up to. So they're probably going to go Firat next, and from then on we'll eventually see him against some of the big names, Gulamierian, Glovaski, those type of guys, maybe Ilunga Makabu. So it will eventually happen. And if we talk about guys who's got a lot of fans, who's got some haters, Kevin reacts to these guys by giving them a finger on Facebook. Now, some people don't like it. They like you to go the more subdued, high road. But you know, if I think about something, Kevin Lerena is a guy who, when he's not boxing, he works as a medic on ambulances. He's clearly not a bad guy. But I think he's also a very clever marketer. Because I was chatting to Anson Wainwright, my colleague from Ring Magazine in the Emperor's Palace, and he asked me, you know, the South African fighters are all such humble, nice guys. Don't you have any bad boys kind of like that? And off the top of my head, I could think of Johnny de Plooy, but that's way back then. He's no longer around. Then I could think of it about Tommy Oosthuizen, who's had a few scuffles outside of the ring. But you know, Kevin Lerena is actually extremely marketable commodity, and he's done this very well, because a lot of people are going to come in there who want to see him win. I want to see him win. I support South African boxing, so I support Kevin Lerena. There'll be these haters that don't like certain aspects and are impatient to see him fighting one of the top guys, and sometimes they're just casuals and they're misinformed. Say things like he's only been fighting taxi drivers. Maybe that's not true. He hasn't fought great guys as of late, but he has beaten some very good fighters. But you know, these guys are also going to buy a ticket. They're also going to tune in to watch because they want to see him lose. It's kind of like Muhammad Ali used to be in the day, how he marketed himself. Or remember Chris Eubank there in England. You know, a lot of people came to see him lose. And what happens? That makes people tune in, puts butts in the seat, and he makes more money. So I think Kevin Lerena is definitely the boxer in South Africa who markets himself the best. I think he's a world-class cruiserweight. He's a top cruiserweight. And I think eventually he is going to fight those top guys that we all crave. I can't see him not getting past Arslan. When he gets past Arslan, he's got a stiff fight ahead of him against Firat, if that comes off. And then the world is his oyster. Then he can't do anything else but roll the dice. And he'll be high up in the WBA. Maybe a fight against Arslan Gulamierian can happen. Who knows? So that's it for me. Let's see what Kevin Lerena does with Firat Arslan on Saturday night. And until we see each other again, remember to keep those gloves up.